all heard Eckhart Tolle give his teaching of stay in beingness, stay in awareness, stay in presence, isn't it? And that's a wonderful teaching. It can and it does have a wonderful effect on many people. That's due to its simplicity, isn't it? It's so easy to understand and to implement. But that, in part, is what he isn't telling you. His teachings are designed to have the biggest impact for the masses. But for somebody who's earnest on their journey, that teaching is actually very limited. In this video, I'm going to show you why that's true, another example of this type of teaching, and what you can do to develop a nourishing practice that is reliable. See, at the root of ourselves is prana. It's the undercurrent of your existence. Prana is energy. Now that's not the full answer, because prana also is very much linked to breath. Breath also makes energy. But let's call prana our baseline, because prana is energy and energy is like our baseline, you see? It's kind of the root of us. It goes a little bit deeper than that, but that's perhaps a discussion for another day. Your pranic body is what you experience when you connect to beingness or presence, like Eckhart Tolle tells you to do. It's your root. But thoughts and emotions, they appear in this state of being of presence. They come and they go. And you've probably heard of this teaching, watch your thoughts or watch your emotions like clouds passing in the sky, isn't it? They're arising in the feeling of presence, in the feeling of your being. Now, your ability to experience this presence, this beingness, is determined by the amount of lenses of the mind through which you're perceiving this state of being. So if this state of being feels a bit meh, then you're perceiving it through a dense veil of karma, or thought and belief. But let's just describe karma just a touch more, because karma represents itself in 4 different ways. Karma literally translates to action. And what sort of actions can we do as a human? Well, there's physical actions. That's definitely the most dense, isn't it? But then there are some internal actions that I'm doing that I should pay attention to, because they have a consequence. Science tells us that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, or a consequence. And this is all karma is trying to explain. So my physical actions have a consequence, positive or negative. But so do my thoughts. My thoughts have a consequence, either positive or negative inside of myself, isn't it? But so do my emotions, and so does my energy. So these are kind of the 4 types of karma that we have. One is physical actions, one is thought actions, one is emotional actions, and one is very subtle, and that's energetic actions. And beliefs are thoughts that we think a lot, and then they become part of our software. So beliefs also form part of our karma, our actions. So these beliefs actually have the power to veil the aliveness of our prana. And that's partly, in fact, because our prana is upholding these beliefs. Remember a moment ago when we said our prana was the root of our consciousness? Well, with it being the root, it means that anything that happens within it requires some of that energy. E.g., the mind, with its mental beliefs and overthinking, etc., needs to be fueled by something, because the mind cannot exist on its own. It needs your energy, your prana, to manifest those thoughts, to think it, doesn't it? And we are hemorrhaging energy to the mind just to uphold a state of being through our beliefs that feels kind of sucky. So we need an excess surge of extra energy to input into our system to override those energetic losses where we're hemorrhaging the energy to the mind, and to make us super aware of what's causing those losses. So why is it that just staying in beingness or presence is limited? Well, simply because you won't be creating enough prana to shift those lenses or those beliefs or those latent tendencies of the mind. You might get glimpses of bliss or breakthroughs, but they don't tend to last. And why is that, I hear you ask? Well, to describe this, allow me an analogy. If any of you have ever done any gardening before, and any weeding, then you know that if you just take the heads off of the weeds, they grow back. You've got to get underneath and get to the root so that you take the roots of the weeds out and then they don't grow back, isn't it? Well, imagine this in the same way in our own system. If you connect to your presence, you can see that this is the root of your consciousness. It's what everything returns to when we're still. But in a sense, we have thoughts that come out of this stillness, don't we? Some of them, overthinking, repetitive thoughts, stuff that's not very positive, reminders of the past, etc. Well, if we're wanting to remove these weeds, let's call these the weeds, then we have to get in at the root. If you start trying to change your thinking pattern, then you're staying on the same paradigm that caused the problem in the first place, isn't it? We're trying to think our way out of thinking, which is a trap. You've got to get to the root, isn't it, to get these weeds or these thoughts out. And the root is our prana, our pranic system, our pranic body. And that's really important to understand. So what most spiritual teachers are leaving out is that you need to be creating a consistent flow of prana into your system to overhaul your current software so that you may be open to more peace, bliss and contentment. Now, we've helped hundreds of aspirants achieve that by working with them closely over the years. And if that's something that you want to achieve in your life, by getting into your pranic system, making the system so alive that these thoughts, they can't come with you, then you can apply for our 6-month intensive in the link below this video. But whatever you choose to do, I hope this video's helped you and served you. Lots of love. Namaste.